For over 35 years, Lidgett Music in Council Bluffs, Iowa has provided quality guitars, amplifiers, repairs, and lessons to musicians all over Iowa and the Midwest. Lidgett Music has also been inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Music Association Hall of Fame. Sean Lidgett started the store in 1988. In 2002, Rob Schlautman was renting an apartment above the store when Sean asked if he would like to help out. Together they provided the best selection of high-end guitars in the Midwest. After Sean sadly passed in 2020, Rob took over the reins of ownership and continues the great reputation of Lidgett Music. In this episode of Rock On Iowa, we talk with Rob about the store and his experience in music retail. Well, hey Rob, thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for asking me to do this.
How did you get started playing music?
Sean was a friend of my brother's. I needed a place to live, and so I moved in upstairs before I really even got involved in this. After I moved in upstairs, Sean sold me this old Squire, still have it today, old Japanese SQ3 bolt, kind of my Hendrix.
Awesome.
The Woodstock strap. But anyways, so he sold me that guitar, and I started kind of getting into it. I started taking a couple of lessons here and there from Jeff Carlson when he was teaching here. And then Sean asked me if I wanted to help him out down here to take some money off my rent. And here we are almost 25 years later.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What age did you start playing guitar?
I started playing at about 20 when I moved in upstairs.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I had not played before that. You know, and I've always been more of a hobbyist. I've jammed with a couple of people, but otherwise never really made much of myself as far as
really?
a musician.
Oh, okay.
But as I've told you, I'm not much of a front person, anyways. I just enjoy it at home, and it's nice to have relaxation. And so yeah, when the guys I was jamming with started talking about gigs, I kind of bowed out.
Oh, really? Okay. So you grew up in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
I did. I grew up between Trainer and Council Bluffs. I knew about the store down here, but just growing up, I always worked and never really picked up an instrument until I started.
I see.
Started
so
hanging out with
later
Sean.
in life.
Later in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little about the history of Lidgett Music?
Yep. Sean ended up starting the business. He started when he was 18. His brother Joe worked here at that time, and it was Berry Brothers Music. Before that, it was House of Music. So it's been a music store for quite a while. But Sean went to basic training and AIT for the National Guard, and he had sold a couple of cars after school, high school. And so when he came back, the business was available, and he was able to purchase it, ran it up until 2020 when he passed away, and I started helping him in about 2001.
What are some of the brands that carry in the store?
Carry the big heavy hitter, or the normal brands you would know, so Fender and Gibson and Martin and Paul Reed Smith and Taylor, but we also have a lot of small kind of micro or boutique brands, so the Sirs and the Novos, the Collings, Bedell, Breedlove, that kind of stuff, Eastman guitars. Just try to match price points with the best instrument you can buy, depending on what you're looking for.
Well, you definitely have a lot of high-end instruments, and you've had high-end instruments in the store ever since I've been coming here.
Yeah, Sean always kind of focused on that. You know, there's a lot of shops that'll carry a lot of more affordable things, and so to kind of separate himself, and it's more fun. I like to do more vintage stuff or boutique stuff or high-end custom shop stuff. So we've thankfully kind of become known for that. So it tends to draw people from out of town or out of state a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot online as well, as that's changed over the years. That was, yeah.
And you do a lot of online business,
A
right?
lot of online business, yeah. It's kind of becoming more of what we do, although I sure love to help out local musicians with gear and pricing. So, yeah, I mean, it's afforded us the ability to kind of expand what we carry.
You have some vintage instruments come through the store as well. What are some of the standouts?
Like this last week, we got a really super clean 62 Les Paul SG That was a really, really interesting, special piece. But just this week, we got a 57 Les Paul Jr., a 58 Les Paul Jr. double cut, 59 Esquire, a 63 Telecaster. So we try to, it's nice to start seeing some more of that stuff come through again. We used to do a lot of the vintage stuff, and as the internet became a lot more popular, less people were bringing them in. So I'm trying to kind of hunt more of it down.
Oh, I see.
It's fun. I've always loved, probably more than anything, just the history and the idea that these manufacturers back in the 30s through the 60s really developed everything that we still strive for today as far as what makes a killer instrument.
Yeah, I know. Some of the stuff that Collings builds is just incredible.
Yeah, and that's really kind of, in my mind, part of that resurgence we've had. I feel like some companies were maybe just building, and when Bill really kind of pushed that envelope, I feel like he more than most pushed quality for every single instrument to perfection. And it's really kind of, that's really where the market is. Paul Reed Smith's another one that each instrument's almost so perfect to a fault. They almost don't feel like they should be that perfect. And other companies, we carry Whitfield guitars out of Kentucky, and Charles does the best job making a brand new guitar that he just finished feel like it was made in the 50s and 60s. And again, to just have the knowledge of materials and feel, and then we're fortunate enough to have someone like Bruce Guitars here in the area that used to work at Collings, so he kind of got some of those skills down there. But it's good to see, and I'm hoping that we'll see a big increase in small builders that are kind of able to bring some passion into the industry.
Can you tell us interesting situations that you've encountered that stand out over the years?
There's the famous people, which I've had good and bad experiences with. Probably the nicest person I think I've ever met, Steve Werner, came through with his wife, and the two of them it was just the most wonderful day. One of my favorite things is getting back stolen guitars for people. And instruments unfortunately walk off sometimes out of people's houses and cars. So I've been able to reacquire quite a few for people over the years. And that's always an interesting experience, but something that to see people, how happy they are to get their instruments back, I love that.
So what kind of advice would you give someone looking to make a career out of music, whether it be a musician or someone looking to get into music retail?
Like you said, I've been doing it for coming up on 25 years. So we've seen all sorts of changes and different things. The biggest thing, if you want to get into it, I would say show up, have fun, a lot of hard work, and who knows, maybe someday you can sit around with all of your life savings in these guitars.
Well, what could be better?
What could be better? I'd much rather have all this stuff, and again, to see how excited people are when they get new instruments than...
Well, I know you've seen me happy quite a few times walk out of this store. So how can people find you online?
www.lidgettmusic.com. That's where we keep almost everything. Our social media through Lidgett Music's Facebook, Instagram.
And you're on Old Broadway in Council Bluffs, Iowa.
Yep, we're downtown here at Council Bluffs, Iowa, in the 100 block historic district, in this old 1890s building that has also been a labor of love, but it's such a fun, cool old building. So,
well, Rob, we can't thank you enough for serving Iowa as well as the whole Midwest.
I thank all of Iowa and the whole Midwest as well for allowing me to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.